this is Jared over at eCarrier Check, and I am excited to announce we've got Matt Easton on the show today, Easton University. Matt, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, it's a pleasure, Jared. And I know we were talking before you pressed record, and you had said it's great having industry experts like me on the call. I appreciate that. But again, as I told you before, and I'm going to tell our listeners, don't hold off on your grade for me until the end of the test here. So you had said, I can't remember what you said, but the master class version, it may be hooked on phonics. I don't know. We're going to get in there. We're going to chop it up. We're going to talk sales. And I have a feeling, but again, I'm curious. So guys, folks out there, leave in the comments if this was useful or not. I have a feeling this is going to be useful for you, but hey, we're just going to chop it up and see where the conversation
We're going to chop it up and go. Well, over at eCarrier Check, we work in the logistics industry, specifically with carriers, dispatchers, brokers. And, at the end of the day, I'm a true believer in we're one relationship away from changing our life. And that relationship can come in a lot of different ways. It can come from social media. It can come from picking up the phone, come from emails, whatever it may be, but you may run into somebody. But something that people struggle with right now is relationships. It's picking up the phone. It's, communicating, just simply communicating, right? We've gone through this weird few years here. And I think, from a carrier standpoint, let's talk about carriers for a sec. These guys are industry experts. They love what they do. They're good at trucking. They're good at loading. They're good at doing that aspect, but they struggle with picking up the phone and calling and trying to get direct shippers. If we were going to go into kind of that aspect, obviously we're talking relationships, we're talking, how does somebody that may not have a lot of sales experience start? Where do we go from there, man?
Yeah, and we will certainly, they're going to get some value out of this session. I will make sure I cover that. But one thing I'm curious to get your opinion on, Jared, something that I've thought about, because we do have, I have clients in every single industry at eastonuniversity.com, but we do have folks that are carriers. We do have logistics providers, software logistics, companies as large as Champ Aero, which some of, they're on the call there every week. But here's my theory of what's going on. Okay. I agree with you 100%. And again, if I'm paraphrasing what you're saying, please stop me and correct me. But if I'm hearing you correctly, based on what you just said, is whether I'm a mom and pop, whether I'm a sole proprietor, a mid-tier, a regional, a national, right? All spectrums, it's in the past and still today, I could be great at what I do as a carrier. I could be good at what I do as a shipper or even a broker, but we haven't really as an industry had to focus on sales all of that much, right? We did focus on relationships, but it wasn't, the way you would think of sales, marketing, outreach. It was more of, I'm really super amazing and kick ass at my job, and I get stuff there on time, and I've got a reputation. And before I had a reputation, my dad had a reputation, right? There's probably some folks on there.
Oh, yeah.
My grandfather had a reputation, and the Easton name, right? If you call Easton, the load's going to get there on time, right? Yeah. And that was what we thought of a relationship. So now we're faced with a lot of folks, and some of them watching this segment right now are like, well, what's changed, right? Why is it more difficult? Why am I reluctant to pick up the phone? You're reluctant to pick up the phone because you don't have a process. I'll be happy. You can fire off questions at me. I'll be happy to give them a process, but I want to also bring up one thing that I think has changed in the last, we'll call it 5 years, but really the last 1 to 2 years. And hopefully this will be like a aha moment for a lot of our carriers. And that's this. Here's why they need to start thinking about outreach. Here's why they need to start thinking about sales. Here's what's changed. Okay. It's not a pandemic. All right. Don't worry. We're not going to spend the next 30 minutes talking about that nonsense. All right. It's this. It's phones. It's mobile. It's all of this information. And more importantly for carriers, what carriers need to realize is up until 5 years ago, there was a mystique, right? And I know, right? I'm actually saying it's sexy to be a carrier. It is, right? There was a mystique, right? If Jared Ross is my guy, in the carrier industry, and I needed to know about an incomplete load or a reefer truck or whatever the heck. And again, you've forgotten more than I'll ever know. I would have to call you, right? Man, my dad worked with Jared. Call Jared, right? Let's say we do stone, and we got to get stone all across the country, right? Call Jared with that question. Oh man, I had a question. Well, now, boom. If I even talk about shipping stone across the country, what do you think is going to happen in my Instagram, my Facebook, my TikTok, my Snapchat, whatever the heck everybody's on, right? I'm going to start getting served up content because of all of these algorithms around less than a load or whatever it is. Reefer truck. Call me tomorrow. I'm going to tell you right now at dinner tonight, I'm going to start getting ads for reefer trucks, right?
Exactly.
Totally. And what has that led to? What has that led to? And this is a blessing and a curse for our carriers out there, right? The blessing is this: if they're on this, people might connect with them. Cool. Yeah, good. Here's the curse. Okay. Your clients now have access to exponentially more information than ever before. And here's something that a lot of them, maybe you're in your truck right now listening to this. Okay. Hopefully you're listening and not watching it, that you're going to go, oh my goodness, wow, this guy was awesome, right? Your potential customers, your current clients, they also have access to exponentially more misinformation than ever before. Just because something is online does not mean it's accurate. Just because I looked up a rate, right? And I know you guys solved this problem quite a bit. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I can find exact rates through eCarrier, right? But just because I see on somebody's feed, right, that, oh no, you can get this, you can get stone shipped across the country for a quarter of what you're paying right now. Now, all of a sudden, it's not about when a potential customer has a question, when a potential customer wants to do business, them going, who's the person with the reputation, right? Granddad used Jared's family. Our family's been doing business with Jared's family forever. Now we have all of this noise in the marketplace.
Yeah.
And it's not going away. So our prospects have access to more information, keyword for carriers, more misinformation, and they've got more choices than ever before, right? So with all of that being said, blessing and a curse, the blessing is if we know how to sell, we can use stuff like this, and that would be great. But the curse is this: if you don't start learning how to go out and actively sell yourself, it's just going to be a matter of time before all of this noise and all of this information and all of this stuff that's happening in the ether above your head while you're in your truck driving across Oklahoma City, your phone's just going to stop ringing eventually, right? And even if it doesn't, I don't want to be doomsday, but even if it doesn't stop ringing, it's going to ring with people with misinformation, mixed expectations, thinking that you can move heaven and earth, right, for 5 cents a mile because they saw it somewhere. You need effective skill sets to not only be able to prospect business, but to be able to handle objections and, more importantly, handle complaints. If you're not trained on that, it's literally like buying a 18-wheeler and not getting trained on how to back it up, right?
Right.
You learned to back up your trailer, right? By the way, that's the most scary thing. I remember telling my wife the other day, I was like, there's certain jobs you couldn't pay me enough money. Mad respect, because I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I fight people. I do MMA. I get up, I talk to 3,000 people at a time. There's few things, there's probably a handful, and I don't want to speak my fears, right? Because I don't want to tell the universe, but I'll speak this one. Probably 5 things I'm very terrified of. Backing up a freaking trailer that size. I could never do it. I just couldn't do it, right? I'm just too much anxiety. But just as the listeners learned how to do that, something that scares the hell out of me, and you can do that right now. It's like, they're so graceful. It's like an art, man. There's right in there. I look at that with awe. You could flip the script, right? The same way you could teach me to back up that trailer, I could teach you how to sell this stuff. It's not that complicated.
Right.
You just need a process. But if nothing else they take away from this segment, they need to know the world is different. I need to be more skillful. I need to be more effective. I need to be more streamlined. It's not about talking about fishing or, are the Razorbacks going to do great this year? And that old school relationship stuff, that's still there. I'm not saying be a jerk, but you got to have a process because you're competing with information, and more importantly, you're competing with misinformation.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. It's interesting. There's so much out there with misinformation. There's so much out there with just people that may have not gotten some scars. Matt, I'm sure at this point you're over, in your lifetime, probably over 30, 40,000 cold calls or in sales calls at that point. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of scars, you know what I mean?
Right.
And in my opinion, people that are building content, if they don't have scars, that's really hard for them to build content because that's how I learn. I learn from my mistakes, and I've made a lot of them, in the trucking industry. You talk about process and even just standing out, where do you start? Where, if I'm a guy that just started a brokerage, or I'm a guy that just started a dispatcher, I'm a one small guy. That's eCarrier checks up a lot of smaller companies.
Yep.
Where do I start as far as learning that process?
Yeah, the first place you start is realizing that yes, you can make it as a smaller shop simply by working hard, but just like just like anybody who has had any semblance of success in the trucking business, it's also about working smart, right? Like I'm gonna stop and chain up or whatever, all of those lessons you learned the hard way, right? The first step is to go, okay, well, sales is no different than servicing my equipment, is no different than making sure that I'm gonna weigh properly or whatever it is, the things that you guys have to do every day that a rookie makes those mistakes once or twice. Step number one, commit to learning a process, okay? Step number two is find a process. If you don't like me, if you don't like eastonuniversity.com, there's a lot of other great sales books out there. I would say this, if I was in trucking, the book is going to be the hardest thing for you to learn, and here's why. You could read, and there's some excellent books out there. Some of them are complete garbage, and some of them were good back in the 70s, right, when they were written, and nobody had these things, right? And it's all about getting past the gatekeeper. Well, come on, if that's what you're focused on now, you're way behind. But the problem with trying to learn from a book, especially if you're in trucking, is it's then essentially like learning something in Spanish and then trying to translate it to Italian, and your native language is English, right? One of the things that I like that we do, and I'm not just saying this because I'm trying to get people to look at our thing. I honestly, right, Scout's honor, I don't know anybody else in the industry that does this. So all of my training is video based. It's me looking at you right from your phone. But then every Wednesday, we're getting ready to have one here in a little bit, we have live calls. So it's a Zoom. I'm live. And so you could come to me, Jared, and say, hey, I've had these 4 clients. They've been really great with us. They haven't called me back in 4 months. What should I do? Right now, I'm going to expect that you're also on the portal learning stuff, but I'm able to help you then. And what's really neat about that is not only do you have me going, well, here's what I would do in your situation, but there's other folks on that conversation. And the nice thing is there's people not from, like, I'll be honest, we don't specialize in suppliers. We don't specialize in carriers. We don't specialize in shippers or brokers. We do have some on the calls, but there's also people in medical device sales, real estate, software, and everybody, it's a collaboration. It's like, well, did you try this? Right. So it's a place where for an hour every Wednesday, you can problem solve this stuff. So number one, commit to saying, okay, sales is now just going to be part of my process. The same way servicing my equipment is, the same way making sure my licenses are up to date, making sure my insurance is ready to go, right? I'm going to make sure that I've got a sales process. Then find one, whether it's me or somebody else, find one that you resonate with, and then practice it. And if that particular process is not getting you results, you might need to find a different sales process. If you do all of those 3 things, you'll be just fine, because here's the other neat thing. For let's say 10,000 people listen to this segment, I'm just going to be maybe I'm being pessimistic. I would say 100 of them are like, man, I'm going to go get sales training, right? And I don't care if you go to us or somebody else, but most of them are going to go, oh yeah, it sounded pretty good. And they're going to leave that off to the side. So the good news is for the folks that are willing to make a commitment to sales training, right? You're going to basically have jujitsu that your competition doesn't have. And your life is going to be a lot easier. You're going to get a lot more done.
Yeah, honestly, there's something to be said about having the mindset, right, of it's just another part of what I'm doing, not so much, oh, I got to pick up this phone and try to find somebody. Mindset is everything, having that kind of that mental toughness in our industry and getting used to the no's. If we transition over to just relationships and we talk about the phone in a relationship, how are you seeing relationships built over this? Do you have to have a website? Do you have to have content? Or can you build a relationship and build trust in 60 seconds over this phone?
I would like to have a website and content. And for the folks that are listening, if I see you on the weeklies and you don't have that, and that's something that freaks you out, feel free to call that out on the Wednesday calls. I can talk. It's very easy. And I'm sure they could even reach out to you. It's very easy to get a web. You don't have to be, Burlington Northern or, you know what I mean? You don't have to be a freaking railroad these days to have a website. You could be, you could be one lady with a truck, right? And have one lady with a truck.com, right? I would have something. I would have a presence. Another place, and this is crazy, and maybe some of the listeners are going to get anxiety hearing this. Another place that I would be if I was them, I'm just saying, if I had to start over, right? Kind of sounds good, but I can't back the thing up. If there was a way I could just drive the truck straight and never have to back it up, I'm like, man, that sounds dope. I could see the country, right? I could stop at places, train jujitsu. I want to do this. If I was going to enter the industry, the first place I would hang out would be LinkedIn. It's amazing.
Okay.
Total ton of contacts there. But I would find a way. Okay, two things that you need. You need to be able to send them a link to you, right? Whether it's your LinkedIn profile, whether it's your website, and then you need to figure out a way that you're connected with the people that you're talking to. Okay. That's why I like LinkedIn, because it's easy for me to say that you and I are connected on LinkedIn. We were second degree connections. And before this call, I sent you a first degree connection. Let me give you a little tip for cold calling here, right? Once I have a little website, right? You can set one up in an hour. And let's just say LinkedIn. I don't have to be in, I want people to realize this. Before we scheduled this call, I was never even a first degree connection with Jared, right? You're a second or third degree connection on LinkedIn with everybody. So it's okay for you to say you're connected. You're not saying you're first degree connected. So check this out. Instead, and this is why people are reluctant with calls, right? Let's say I'm Easton Trucking and Jared, you're Jared Stone Company or whatever. What do you want to be? What kind of company you want to be?
If you're a trucking company, I'll just be a pipe manufacturer.
Pipe manufacturer. I love it. JP Pipe, right? Jared, JR Pipe, right?
JR Pipe.
So I find you on LinkedIn, right? Instead of calling you, beep, boop, 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 boop. Hey, Jared, Matt Easton with Easton Trucking. Do you have 5 minutes where I can talk about saving you some, up to 15% on your shipping? Instead of trying to make a mini sales call and force it in there, why? And it's no wonder why they're call reluctant. That sounds terrible, right? Like that's a horrible way to go about your life. I just want to get in the truck and drive. I can show them some jujitsu, and let me give them some jujitsu right now. You ready?
Yeah.
Boop, boop, boop. In order to get this deal, in order to get these sales, what I found in life, sometimes if you just slow the process down in the beginning, you'll actually speed up the results. And here's an example of slowing the process down in the beginning. I called Jared at JR Pike. Beep, boop, 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 boop. If you want his mobile number, I can show people. Call my office. I'll send you a piece of software we use. I would get Jared's mobile number, right? So Jared answers his mobile from JR Pipe. Yellow, right? First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to say who I am, and I'm going to say how we're connected, and then I'm going to pause. I'm not going to say anything. It sounds like this. Beep, boop, 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 boop. Yellow. Hey, Jared, Matt Easton, founder of Easton Trucking. I almost said Easton University. Hey, Jared, Matt Easton, founder of Easton Trucking. You and I are connected on LinkedIn. And then I'm going to pause. Every single person's going to go to say the same thing. Oh, yeah. Hey, Matt, how's it going? Right? I'm just telling you this because I coach, there's probably a million calls that happen a year that I'm involved with, and we coach and we try. it's 99.99% chance they're going, oh yeah, hey Matt, how's it going? Right? And you're going to say this, going great, going great. Hey, I wanted to reach out to you personally because I don't think we've helped JR Pipe yet. Do you mind if I send you over a link to Easton Trucking so you can take a look when you get some time? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as soon as I say the words, I don't think we've helped your team yet. When that person at JR Pipe hears that, they're automatically going to go, dang, it's a sales call. And I know you're super dope, awesome, and amazing. I am too. But people even feel that way when I call them. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm one of probably 5 of the most recognized sales trainers in the world. People still get anxiety when I call them. I know this because I still make 80 calls a day myself, right? I can feel it I can feel their gut going, oh crap, sales call. Just like jujitsu, right? I'm going to now alleviate that stress that I just created by saying, I wanted to reach out to you personally because I don't think we've helped JR Pipe yet. Can I send you a link to Easton Trucking so you can take a look when you get some time, right? I'm basically letting them know, hey, I'm going to let you off this call. And they're like, sure, perfect. Jared, what's the best email for you? Even though I've got Jared's email in front of me, I want him to verify it because I don't know if he's moved. I don't know if they've changed company names, right? I don't know what's going on. I never want to assume something. Like, is your email still Jared at jrpipe.com? And you're like, no, we changed names 4 years ago. Like, where you been? Are you sure? I lose all my credibility if I make a mistake. Just simply go, hey, what's the best email for you? It's Jared at jrpipe.com. Awesome. I'm going to send you something right now. I'm curious to get your opinion on it. I'll give you a buzz Friday if I haven't heard back from you before then. Fair enough? And they're always going to say the same thing. You can make any state, you can ask any question if you lead with just out of curiosity. Just out of curiosity, what are you guys paying for reefer trucks right now? Right? Versus, what are you paying for reefer trucks right now? Right? One is an interrogation. The other is just out of curiosity, right? And you can make any statement. Listen to this. I'll call you Friday at 4:30 if I haven't heard from you. It's like, yeah, sure. And I won't answer my phone, jerk. But if I just add this to it, I'll call you Friday at 4:30 if I haven't heard from you before then. Fair enough? And they always say the same thing. Fair enough. If they just simply don't take any of my sales training, don't take anybody else's, just start slowing down when they're prospecting and realize now I'm going to send them a link. When I send them the link, the next time that I follow up, right? What I would like are carriers out there to be able to do with small business operators is take some of that knowledge that they have in their head and start thinking about insights that JR's Pipe, that Easton Stone or McDougall's Bakery or Johnson's Dairy, or well, Dairy usually has their own vehicles, but whatever it is, an insight that them as a carrier could give them that would be helpful to that business, whether they did business with the carrier or not, right? Because a lot of times that person's not, I just gave you a scenario where they're answering the phone, okay? I want to be real. Especially in the small to mid-sized business world, you're calling an operator, there's a 90+% chance you're going to get what?
Voicemail.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the problem. Here's what most small operators are doing right now. Beep, boop, 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 voicemail. They go, and they hang up. They're like, I don't want to leave a voicemail. Or, which is bad, almost as bad as beep, boop, 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 boop. I get Jared's voicemail, and then I leave a mini sales pitch on the voicemail. Hey, Jared, Matt Easton from Easton Trucking, man, wanted to see how you're doing. Hope you're having a fabulous day. Hope you're staying safe out there. Listen, I would love to have, and all of a sudden, you get cut off because you were talking to yourself for 3 minutes, right?
All right.
Or the one that annoys me the most is this old school. Again, I said there was some bad sales training out there where I'm just going to pretend you and I are best friends and think I'm going to Jedi mind trick you into calling me back. Hey, Jared, it's Matt. Hey, Jay Money, it's Matt. Give me a call. Right? like, oh my gosh, this must have been my beer drinking buddy from college, right? Like, let me call him back. And they're like, dang it, sales guy tricked me again. I guess I'll have to buy something from him. Here's the voicemail I want carriers leaving. Okay. Now this is going to require you to come up with some value. I want you to have an idea that you can give them, right? That will be interesting to them, that will help them. Maybe it's a way you can save that business money. Maybe it's a way you can provide better service, whatever it is. Take 5 minutes and think about something that you would like to tell somebody that's not just a sales pitch, right? That's helpful for them. Like, I didn't know if you realize this or not, but you can split up loads or whatever it is. Again, I'm making myself sound stupid, but whatever the insight is, right? Have an insight preloaded in your head. Okay. Then when you get voicemail, here's what I want you to do. There is one thing, and here's proof of the one thing. This is just as we've been talking. Look at how many there. Okay. Now I have 307 followers on TikTok. A lot of that's that. But there's one thing in this world that everybody wants to give, and it's not us a callback, and it's not their money, and it's not their time. Jared, do you want to take a guess at the one thing that everybody wants to give in this world right now?
To give?
To give. They want to give it to you.
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if I can tell that in one thing.
You want me to give you the answer?
I kind of do.
Are you on any sort of social media?
I am.
What's your favorite flavor?
Strawberry.
No, of social media.
Ah,
At least you come up with a company, we'll call it Strawberry.
TikTok. I like TikTok.
TikTok. Do you follow me on TikTok?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Go into some of my videos and you'll see what I'm talking about, right? Some people are like, this guy is amazing. I closed $1 million deal because of this. And other people are like, I cannot stand whatever that dead animal is on his face, right? His clothes are stupid. This guy's an idiot. The one thing in the world that everybody wants to give, especially in 2022, is their opinion, right?
Yeah, that's
Go
fair.
to Kim Kardashian's profile. You're too fat, Kim Kardashian. You're too skinny, Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
You wear too many clothes, Kim Kardashian. You don't wear enough. I don't know how, and no disrespect, I'm not trying to throw mud at Kim Kardashian. I just don't know how I only have, between all platforms under 1 million. I can't imagine what it'd be like to be somebody like them, right?
I can't either. No.
You just can't, you just have to not look at it because
Right.
everybody wants to give their opinion. So as a small operator, I'm about to give you, you're welcome, right? You can thank me later. Here's the voicemail I want you to leave. Beep, boop, 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 boop. I call JR's Pipe Manufacturing, right? Hey, Jared, Matt Easton with Easton Trucking. You and I are connected on LinkedIn. Again, still saying who I am, right? I'm still saying how we're connected. If you don't want to use LinkedIn, I'm in charge of Northern Ohio, whatever. Come up with a way you're connected. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to say how you're connected. Otherwise, it's just a random call. So I like the LinkedIn. Start using it. It's easy. It's the easiest one out of all. Hey, Jared, Matt Easton, Easton Trucking. You and I are connected on LinkedIn. Now listen to my tonality and how I pause. Hey, Jared, I've got an idea that I would love to get your opinion on. Is there any way you can give me a call on my mobile? It's 720-660-3202. Boom. That's the voicemail that I want carriers. Now, again, please do not ruin it for Easton University. Okay.
Right.
Don't ruin this for me. When you leave that voicemail, don't be a jerk when they call you back and just try and sell. Have an idea, right? Hey, the reason I wanted to reach out to you is I know a lot of our other clients that are in pipe manufacturing, what they're finding now with supply shortages is it's very difficult for them to schedule ahead of time because you don't know on your raw materials that are coming in, and they might benefit from being able to have more flexible pickup schedules. Is that something that you're seeing, Jared? Now there I led with an insight, right?
Yeah.
Now we're having a conversation, right? That's what I want. I want you guys to be good people. Don't be jerks, okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you the powerful stuff. Don't be jerks. Be a good person. Have something of value, right? There's stories you can have when they call you back, but they will start calling you back in droves if you simply pivot from a mini sales presentation to no voicemail at all, to the old college buddy trick. Leave all of that in the garbage, right? And go, hey, Jared, Matt Easton, founder of Easton Trucking, you and I are connected on LinkedIn. I have an idea that I would love to get your opinion on. Now listen to my tonality, right? That's a genuine, real person with a genuine, real idea. Okay. I don't teach anybody to sound salesy, slicker. Hey, Jared, Matt Easton Trucking. I've got an idea that I would love to get your opinion. That's gross, right? Like if that's the type of sales process you want, we are not your people. I'm not.
Yeah.
But if you want to be a real person and you just want to all of a sudden take what you loved about your best relationships and just learn a few skills, like what voicemail to leave, how to start a conversation with somebody, I am your guy all day long. I can help you with that. Let me give them one more tip. And then if you want to fire a couple questions at me, cool. But another thing I just want, because I may never talk to some of these people again.
Sure.
And none of us can do anything without truckers. I'm sorry. I'm in that camp. I'm in the I actually realize that everything in my house, everything that I eat, without carriers, it all goes to hell. And then that's the emotional part of me, but here's the greedy part of me, right? I want carriers to be able to get more business more effectively, because if they can't, they're going to have to raise prices a lot more. And then my stuff is just going to cost more money. So either way, this is a win-win for me. Okay?
I totally get it.
Totally selfish reasons. But here's what I just want to impart on them. Okay. 90% as a carrier, and these numbers hold true for shippers and brokers too. Okay. 90% of the things that you guys are getting right now, pushback, complaints, things from current clients, from prospects that you think are an objection. Okay. Oh man, they're not going to do business with me. This is an objection. I need to overcome it. This is something that I teach that changes people's framework. It changes your mindset. You save a bunch of money on therapy. 90% of the things that carriers are thinking are objections right now, they're not objections at all. They're complaints. Okay, I'm going to repeat that because it's really important for carriers to realize this, because you're getting anxiety. You guys are popping, Rolaids like they're Tic Tacs, right? I want to save you on the Tums that you've been, because of the anxiety and the acid in your stomach. Just because somebody is complaining about something, your rates, your scheduling, the fact that things have changed, does not mean that they're not going to do business with you. And a lot of times what we try and do is we try and solve everything that we think is an objection. And we end up getting into these micro arguments with that potential customer when all we'd have to do about 60% of the time is agree, right? Jared, are you insane? I can't believe these rates. They've gone up so much. I'm with you. I hear you, right? When do you want to book that load? And just remain calm, right? Same thing, like if my son does hockey, I'm constantly late to his practice, and it upsets my wife every time because I'm doing things like my coaching calls or talking to great people like you. I'm always like, Matt, you're late again, right? And I don't say to her, well, if I'm not doing these calls or I'm not with our clients, we're not going to eat, or there was traffic and I can't believe the stupid wreck. You know what I just say? You're right. You're right. I get it. And it goes away. It's too many times as carriers, we're getting into arguments about stuff that's not even in our control, right? Because we want to be right. And we want to prove to that person that they're wrong and we're right. And we want to change their mind.
Yeah.
You're going to do business with us anyways. Stop trying to change their mind. You're not going to do it. They're going to change their mind on their own anyway. So we don't have time to get into today, but I've got an 8-step process for kind of working through even the toughest objections. But I just want carriers to know this. Hear it from me, your new best friend, Matt Easton. 90% of the things right now that you're getting into all of these back and forth, well, you don't understand the reason why the rates have gone up is this, this, and this. And you don't understand on our end, our top line revenue is actually down, and just knock it off, right? Your step number 1 of the 8 steps is just simply agree and move forward, right? Yeah. Every real validated objection has one thing in common. They'll bring it back up again. You don't need to solve every problem at the moment it comes up. Just simply be cool, be positive, have a sales process that you can trust in, right? And let them complain. They'll love you for it, right? They'll feel better. I get it. I'm with you. I totally understand, right? It's expensive. Just leave it, boom, and then move on. So when do you want to get that load scheduled, right? Trust me, there's going to be people that listen to this and they're going to be, oh my God, I did that. And the guy was like, well, Tuesday. And you're what? Wait, really? Just simple stuff.
I love that. Matt, you have created so much value today. I like to keep interviews fairly short. Where can people find you? Where do they connect with you? From a personal fan standpoint, by the way, your TikTok is insane. I love your TikTok. I actually, about 5 years ago, My wife downloaded this app on my phone and said, honey, you're spending so much time on your phone. You could probably get a master's degree if you actually watch something fun or educational instead of, the guy that just lit a firework off and it blew off his thing. So now what I do is
You mix it in with the firework guys.
Yeah. So 50% of my time
50.
on social media is education. And you are one of my educators. I honestly can say that you helped me with my master's degree in sales. And I watch a lot of people and I love your content. I love the beard. I have a beard. It's an issue. I don't know what to tell you.
Hey,
I could shave this morning and this
I
afternoon.
just stopped caring. Now I just move on when they say that.
Yeah, it is what it is. But Matt, where do we find you? How do we connect with you? What can we do to support you?
Yeah, easiest way to find me, eastonuniversity.com. That's our website. Our phone number is 800-628-1456. That's 800-628-1456. And then Easton University on all of the social platforms. The two big ones are going to be Instagram and TikTok. TikTok is the biggest one. But and here's the thing. We've got a great team at Easton University. They're in a hurry to help you, but please, if you're a carrier out there and you're just even thinking about this, just call the office and say, hey, I want to talk to Matt. I travel a lot. I will call you and we can talk through it. If it makes sense for you to get on the training, great. If not, sometimes it's good just to have somebody as a friend, right? The same way that I would like to have a friend that if I was in the pipe business, to have a friend that knew something about flatbeds and getting stuff when even if you don't use me, let's connect. I'm here for you. Yeah. It's totally free to follow the TikTok. It's totally free to get on our VIP tips mailing list. I would love to coach you. I'd love to work with you. It's $300 a month, month to month. If that's not something you want to do, please take it. It's not going to hurt my feelings. Follow me on TikTok, get the use out of it there. I just want to help in any way I can.
I love that. Matt, thanks for being on. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And if anybody can help me reduce my fear of backing up a trailer, maybe I'll come out to your facility one day and crash a truck and that would be great. I'll give you some free sales training if you let me back up. Just let me back up one 18-wheeler so I can get this fear out of my head. I'm in.
I love that. We'll come out to Gary, Nebraska. I'll help you out.
All right. Done. I'll see you soon.
All right. Take care, Matt.
Thanks, brother.